Hola amigos y amigas, you are now with Jocelyn y como siempre, I am so grateful you are here. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. You already know all the goodness we're going to be getting into in this video, and if you are new here, welcome as well. If you enjoy lifestyle, spirituality, self-development, journaling, and all of that good stuff, then make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my weekly videos and you join in on this beautiful, growing community. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 8 journaling prompts that are directly inspired by the energetic themes surrounding this upcoming Cancer new moon taking place on June 28th, 2022. We have officially stepped into Cancer season amongst this summer solstice. So the truth that we have stepped into new seasons may have you feeling like you stepped into a new season, like you have been initiated into a new season of your life, and perhaps maybe you can't fully pinpoint what exactly the newness is, but you just have this internal intuitive sense that something's new, something's different in your life, and it feels good. Cancer energy is known to be the energy of, being emotional. It is motherly, nurturing, nourishing energy. It is motivating energy. It is safe energy. It is comforting energy. It is loyal energy. It is friendly energy. It is fertile energy. It is feminine energy. So we are definitely going to be diving into all of these energies. And if you want to know more about the overall energy regarding this Cancer new moon, then definitely check out the energy reading that I'm going to be dropping on my channel very soon. That is going to be all about the energy of this upcoming Cancer new moon. But in this video, we're going to focus on these journaling prompts, and I'm really excited to share them with you. So without further ado, let's get into these 8 journaling prompts. How have I been creating a safe space for me to evolve? I have no doubt that you have been in a state of evolution, personally, professionally, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and perhaps there have been moments in your journey where your external environment and influences and relationships didn't necessarily feel safe, didn't necessarily feel supportive for your evolution, and it inspired you consciously or subconsciously to create that safe space for yourself to experience your evolution. And given the fact that this Cancer new moon very much is that energy of creating that safe space for yourself and others to grow, to flourish, to embrace and embody the truth, I want us to hold that space for us to acknowledge the ways in which we have been creating that safe space for ourselves to continue evolving, to continue stepping into our truth, into our power, into our enlightenment, into our healing. And all of this is a reflection of how you have been practicing self-care, how you have been prioritizing yourself, how you have been cheerleading yourself and supporting yourself. So if you resonate with this prompt, and I feel like all of you watching this do. I mean, the simple fact that you're watching this video, you're watching a video that is guiding you to be introspective, that is guiding you to learn more about yourself, like that is already a reflection of you supporting you and your self evolution. So how have you been creating that safe space for you to evolve? And also, like, when you're done journaling this prompt, please just take a moment to thank yourself. Like, thank you, self, for creating this safe space for me to evolve, because I am so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for you, and my evolution wouldn't have been the same without the safety that you have so lovingly offered me. How would I describe the journey home to myself? I have been intentionally reflecting on what guidance I want to offer you in regards to this prompt, because I feel like it can be perceived in many different ways for many different people, and no perception of this prompt is wrong. And I think that in whatever way it is that you perceive and receive this prompt is the way that you are meant to expand on this prompt. But I will say that one way that you can approach this prompt is by describing how your journey back home to yourself has been in the recent seasons of your life. Has it been effortless and inspiring and energizing? Has it been uncomfortable and unsettling and emotional? Has it, like, how has that journey felt for you? What has it looked like for you? What has unfolded from it for you? It could also be perceived as, your daily, weekly, monthly practices in which you are consistently, intentionally bringing yourself back home to yourself, right? Because so often we can find ourselves, caught up in the mix of daily life and our daily routines, that we realize, like, oh my gosh, I'm not home. I'm not at one with myself, and I need to go back home. So I'm going to go do this and this and this and this. I'm going to do some journaling. Perhaps I'm going to cook my favorite meal. I'm going to, like, whatever it is that makes you feel, leads you back home to you. What does that look like? How does it feel? How do you know you've arrived home? And for those of you who are listening to this and are like, I don't even feel like I've ever really arrived home to myself. I feel like I'm still figuring out that journey. I feel like I'm, like, if this doesn't like fully resonate with you, then don't skip it just because you feel like you've been left out from this prompt. I don't think anyone is left out from this prompt. We are all on the journey back home to ourselves. It's just a matter of reflecting on, have we been intentional about directing ourselves towards the direction of walking home to ourselves? Have we been exploring our inner landscapes to discover where our home is? I feel like we truly all are on the journey back home to ourselves. And again, it's just a matter of, are we consciously aware of it or not? Are we being intentional about it or not? And I feel like all of you, again, who are watching this video that is guiding you inwards, you are all on the journey back home to yourself. So I feel like this prompt, all is to say, this prompt resonates and calls to every single one of you that are watching this. And there are so many different ways that this prompt can be perceived and received. So in whatever way it is that you received this prompt, go ahead and expand on it in that way, because I feel like that is the way that you are called to expand on it. What have I been feeling intuitively encouraged to take risks on? When I say intuitively, it could also just be internally, right? For those of you who are still kind of strengthening your relationship with your intuition, still trying to understand, what it's like to converse with your intuition and listen to what your intuition is telling you, you can also just see it as what you feel internally called, internally inspired. And what I mean by that, just to provide extra guidance, is, sometimes we can feel like within ourselves, like something is right. Like, I don't know why, but I feel like I should start this thing. I feel like I should continue pursuing this thing. I feel like I should explore this thing. And it may not resonate with the world outside of you. And so it's like, it can cause some confusion because it's like, okay, I'm not seeing anything or anyone outside of me feeling called to do this or doing this thing. Or perhaps, your external environment or situation doesn't reflect what you feel intuitively or internally called to pursue or try or begin or etc. And so it can cause you some confusion because it's like, okay, outside of me, it's not making sense to do this, but inside of me, it's feeling right. It's feeling like it's making sense. Like it's feeling like this is what I should do. Tune into that more. Trust that more. That is your intuition. That is your internal compass that is trying to guide you and navigate you towards being at home with yourself. It's guiding you towards your soul purpose fulfillment, towards your mission in this life. And sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it doesn't reflect what's happening outside of us. So it can, again, just be confusing. Like, is that actually what I am meant to do at this time? Lean into that. So what have you been feeling intuitively encouraged to take risks on? Because I know that there are quite a few of you who have been feeling internally, intuitively encouraged, called, nudged to take the leap, take the risk, start that thing, begin anew, explore, go on that adventure, see what happens. So write that down. Acknowledge those internal, intuitive encouragements and callings that have been tugging on your attention. As I've expanded, how has my comfort zone expanded? You have all been on a journey of expansion, whether or not it looks like it, whether or not it feels like it. You have been on a journey of expansion, and more likely than not, as you've expanded, your comfort zone has expanded as well. And what do I mean by that? An example of your comfort zone expanding as a result of your personal, professional, mental, energetic, spiritual, physical expansion would be that you have been confronting yourself more throughout your expansion. And because you have been doing that, you no longer fear confrontation as much. So your comfort zone has expanded. You are more willing to be confrontational. Perhaps another way that your comfort zone has expanded is you feel more willing and fearless to engage in honest, deep conversation with yourself and with others. Maybe your comfort zone has expanded in the way of you feel more capable of going after certain goals, ideas, desires. Perhaps you feel more comfortable doing things alone and journeying through life alone. There's so many different ways that your comfort zone has probably expanded as a result of your own journey through expansion. And I encourage you to take a moment with this prompt to really reflect on what those ways are. because I feel like it can be very revealing for you, and you can learn a lot about yourself in taking a good moment with this prompt. It's exciting to think about how our comfort zone has expanded, and I feel like now is such a beautiful time for us to reflect on this, because this season just feels like the season where we are going to be embracing all those ways that our comfort zone has expanded. All those little expansions that have, all those little but not so little ways that our comfort zone has expanded, I feel like we're gonna be really stepping into those ways and using them. And what I mean by that is, let's say you've gotten more comfortable with doing things alone. I feel like now is the season where you're gonna really be doing more of that. You're gonna be doing more things alone. If your comfort zone has expanded in you being more confrontational, this is gonna be that season where you're actually gonna really be exercising that expansion of your comfort zone, and you're gonna find yourself being more confrontational in a way that honors your worthiness, in a way that honors your gifts and your passions and your desires and your needs. So I highly encourage you to tune into this prompt. What energetic pathways do I sense are opening up for me? Is it just me, or does this season feel like breakthrough season? Perhaps you may have already been experiencing some breakthroughs. Perhaps you just feel the buildup of a breakthrough approaching you closer and closer, and you just feel like it's just right around the corner. Perhaps some of you have been feeling like you're starting to really understand and trust divine timing. You're starting to see how divine timing has been at play in your life, and why certain things have happened or not happened, when they have or when they haven't. Perhaps some of you have been feeling like everything or certain things are starting to really fall into place, and it's starting to feel good. This is what I mentioned at the beginning of this video, where this season just feels like that season where how it's unfolding and what it's offering us is just gonna feel good. It's gonna feel good for our soul. It's gonna feel good to our spirit. It's gonna feel new, but in a good way. You know, because sometimes newness can just feel, I feel like a lot of us have been experiencing a lot of newness that has felt very unsettling, that has triggered some fear. But I feel like this newness that we're stepping into in this season is not gonna be like that. It's gonna be different in a really good way. And for those of you who are listening to this and are like, I do not resonate with this at all, I don't feel like any energetic pathways are opening up for me, I feel super blocked, I feel stagnant, I don't feel like things are falling into place. Like, I don't want you to feel, again, left out by this prompt. I don't want you to feel like you're behind because of this prompt that I'm sharing with you. We are all going to be experiencing breakthroughs. Whatever it is that you are going through right now, I promise you that a breakthrough is on its way to you. I promise you that your pure intentions, I promise you that your efforts are not going unnoticed by the divine, okay? So I just want to offer that reassurance. But I did want to acknowledge that there are many at this time around this Cancer new moon who are feeling like, okay, it's feeling like breakthrough season. It's feeling like certain pathways are opening up for me. I'm feeling this expansion. I'm feeling like things are flowing. I'm feeling renewed. I'm feeling like I can go after this thing again. I can try again. I can begin this. I can move forward. This like forward motion energy. I want to acknowledge it. So for those of you who feel inspired by this, for those of you who resonate with this, dive in. And for those of you who don't fully resonate or fully feel called towards this prompt or inspired by this prompt, then perhaps use this prompt to Write down your affirmations. Claim the breakthroughs that you are desiring. Claim the breakthroughs that you will and are manifesting, okay? In what ways have I been fertilizing my soil and strengthening my foundation? Not long ago, I shared this intuitive message video on my Instagram where I talked about the importance of our soil and how fertilizing our soil is essential for us to ensure the longevity of the seeds that we are planting, the intentions that we are planting in our soil. Our soil is our foundation. And the fertility of our soil, the health of our soil is the feminine energy of our soil, of our foundation. And this is definitely being amplified and highlighted amongst this Cancer new moon. So I just absolutely had to acknowledge, the fertilization of our soil, the strengthening of our foundation, because it's so incredibly important for the empires that we are building, the heavenly kingdoms that we are building for ourselves, for the goodness of all living beings in all places. Again, if you really want to experience longevity for whatever dreams, goals, visions you are manifesting, you have to care and tend to and fertilize your soil. And that's tuning into your femininity, your feminine energy. And we're gonna get more into that in the next prompt. But in this prompt, I want you to take a moment to acknowledge how you have been fertilizing your soil, how you have been strengthening your foundation. And I don't want you to count out any seemingly small way that you have been doing so. Okay? So don't count anything out. Whatever you feel has been contributing to the fertilization of your soil, the strengthening of your foundation, journal that. And if there are other ways that you would like to incorporate in the fertilization, in the strengthening, if there are other ways that you'd like to integrate into your lifestyle, into your daily routine that you know and you intuitively feel are going to benefit you and your soil and your foundation, then go ahead and journal that as well, and affirm and claim that you will incorporate those ways, that you will integrate those ways into your life and into your journey. So what ways have you been fertilizing your soil and strengthening your foundation? Let's focus on that. Let's hold space for that. Let's prioritize that. And let's acknowledge the truth that that is so, so important in our expansion, in our journey, in our grounding, in our ascension. How has my feminine energy grown to feel like medicine? We are in the age of the divine feminine. We have seen how the feminine has arisen to the surface in our individual lives as well as a collective. We've seen how the masculine systems that have caused imbalance have been revealed and have been dismantled and are currently still being in the process of being broken down so that, again, the feminine can rise and bring forth balance to us as individuals and as a collective. Now, that is a whole conversation in and of itself, but the collective wouldn't be experiencing healing feminine energy if we weren't experiencing that as individuals. For those of you who identify more with your masculine and perhaps still have the notion, the conditioning, the programming that you don't have any feminine energy within you, I want you to know that we all have femininity and we all have masculinity. It's just that sometimes we can identify and feel and expand from one energy more than the other. Perhaps we have been in tune with one energy more than the other for a long time in our lives, and we're starting to feel the counter energy kind of rise and bring forth balance. So, for example, for me, I definitely have felt myself really reuniting with my feminine energy that has been suppressed for so long because I have felt like I've had to step up and step into my masculine with the intentions of bringing forth defense and safety and action, right? That has caused me in my life and my journey some depletion, and now my feminine energy is really being and has been very nourishing and grounding and supportive and healing. So all that to say, I know that I have not been alone in this journey of reuniting with the feminine and awakening to just how healing the feminine energy has been. So how has your feminine felt like medicine for you? How has that showed up for you? And feminine energy is the energy of really trusting divine timing, divine guidance, trusting and having faith in what you don't see right in front of you. That's divine feminine energy. The divine feminine is very encouraging, very supportive. It speaks words of wisdom and encouragement to you. It inspires you to keep going. It expands your vision. The feminine energy is very visionary. It can see the bigger picture. It doesn't get so attached to the right here, right now, what's right in front of me. The feminine energy is very in tune with intuition. It's very earthly and compassionate, and it's just like that motherly energy that we all know and are familiar with. So, y'all, how has your feminine energy grown to feel like medicine for you? This is a beautiful time for us to be journaling about this. Affirm what you are ready to begin, develop, grow, and flourish. Again, there has been and there is this energy of, okay, I'm ready. Okay, this is time. Okay, this is falling into place. Okay, this pathway is opening up for me. Okay, I feel the energy flowing. I feel the forward motion. I feel inspired. I feel supported. I feel like I've established this safe space for me to continue evolving. I feel like I found my footing in my journey through expansion. Embrace all of those energies and embrace the internal intuitive calling that is calling you to begin this thing, to continue developing this thing, to grow this thing, to flourish this thing. And if this thing is something that you have perhaps picked up in the past and then realized it wasn't the right timing, or it just wasn't the time. It didn't feel right. It wasn't really unfolding how you expected. And so you put it back down and you just kind of like set it aside. If you're picking that thing back up in this moment, like you're feeling called to pick that back up, to continue feeding it and nourishing it and developing it, and growing it and trying it out again, beginning anew, right? Please don't attach the past to it. Allow this renewal, allow these openings to be fully new for you. Just because you experienced hardship in a certain thing in your life, in a certain experience, doesn't mean that you're going to experience that hardship again in that certain thing or experience. Really, again, just allow it to be fully new. If you're picking up something that you've left behind or set aside in the past and you just, again, feel called to pick it back up, embrace it, pick it back up, and trust the divine timing of it all. Trust that the calling that you feel, the intuitive energy that you feel to begin again, to continue developing and growing and flourishing, is because now is the time, is because it's the right time. It's because things are different now and you're ready for it now. So embrace that, affirm it. This is a beautiful new moon to do so. And I feel like this prompt and the last prompt that I share with you are really beautiful two prompts to kind of end this with, because all the previous prompts that I shared with you prior to these last two can really assist you in expanding on these last two prompts. So refer back to the prompts that you journaled before this to inspire some more deep, detailed, expanded journaling for these last two prompts. And that, my friends, are the 8 journaling prompts directly inspired by the energetic theme surrounding this Cancer new moon taking place on June 28th, 2022. I hope that you enjoyed these prompts. I hope that they resonated with you. And if they did, I would absolutely love to know which prompts you end up journaling, because you already know your girl loves cultivating and creating and connecting community with you all in the comment section below. And again, if you'd like to gain a deeper understanding and higher conscious awareness of just the overall energy of this moon and the week ahead from this moon, then tune into the energy reading that I'm going to be dropping on my channel, or may already be on my channel by the time that you watch this. That is going to be all about that. And I'm really excited to get into that energy reading and share it with you. But thank you all so much for being here. I truly appreciate you. I feel so honored at the possibility of guiding you through your reflections, through your journaling. Thank you so, so much for investing in yourself. I am wishing you and praying that you have the most fulfilling, calming, rejuvenating, nourishing, healing, breakthrough-ing Cancer new moon. See you in my next video.